Yay! Outdoors, which means I am getting to this reading before it's like midnight. Yay! I love that. I love that I am just doing it a little earlier today, which means that I can do some other things later on. Have myself a little Topo Chico. Gonna do deep beating. So it's Topo Chico, and oh, for any of you who follow me on, I think I posted it on both Instagram and Facebook. Yes, I did. I posted about a sun tea that I was brewing earlier in the week, and that is actually a mixture of Chinese herbs. It's actually a mushroom, but it's like a bark. It grows like a bark, and they have to like whack it with an axe. And it's an Alaskan. It grows on birch trees, and you have to really whack at it with like heavy duty stuff. So it's basically from Alaska. So it grows essentially in cold weather rather than warm weather, and yeah, so, but it's supposed to be really good for cleansing the system overall. And for anybody who, needs, if you're just doing like a detox or a cleanse, it's like really awesome. And for anyone who has health issues, yeah, it's supposed to be really, really great for that, to help to detox the overall system and specifically wash it and go through the blood system, circulatory system. So I'm mixing it with some Topo Chico. My own, like, whatever. Topo Chico, I'm convinced, is, like, the best thing ever made. And back in the days when I used to drink, that was, like, the best hangover cure ever. Those days. Fun times. Fun times. So, hope you had fun with today's energy, with the energy that for the energy for Saturday and that full moon. I love it. I love it. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. Just checking Vespers over there under that lady's car. Yeah, it was really interesting energy today, working with that unity to recognize that we're all interconnected. How did that energy play out for you? Did you see where that was coming up? I was watching how that was rolling out for me too, and yeah. I'm still watching it, the interconnection of everything. And what I love, like one of the biggest changes I've seen in terms of like working more collaboratively is not necessarily, I don't know, how are you picking up on that? I see that where it has changed for me a lot is actually in my whole decision process making system. Whereas I used to make very knee-jerk, have very reactionary responses to things. I don't do that as much. Like I'll feel the reaction come up, but there isn't a need to like respond immediately to that frontline thing. It feels, number one, muted and not nearly as like an on fire situation as things used to be. Again, going back to that catastrophizing thing. I just caught myself on that one too. Cat people. But Leo season. But yeah, so as opposed to like being, like we can be cool cats or we can be like fraidy cats. That's also a thing, right? And I think I really definitely felt like I was being more of a cool cat, but I was not. I was being more of a fraidy cat, and I was responding from fear rather than, and not really investigating, taking that moment to recognize the fear coming up and the response around that, and just being like, oh, wow, we're afraid, so let's take a moment. And that's where you become a cool cat. You take a moment, you step back, and you come back to your little perch, right? Your little perch on your like little picky thing or whatever, your picky cat tree. And you go up in your tree and you go be like, let me just sit and like feel this through for a minute until I can come down and then we can deal with it in a cool cat way, and be like, okay, yeah, I have this and I'm cool and we're good. And I can come and sit back and come up with a more creative response. So and that's that opportunity to come back, gain that broader perspective, and take in the other pieces of information, right? Which we can't if we're in that reaction mode. You don't even your blinders on. You're not here. You've got the blinders on, so you don't take in that other information with, the proverbial grain of salt. There's that spice that was kind of that spice imagination that was coming through last night. and take that in and add that to the mix and come up with a more, you know, a more whole person response. And that's when, you know, you recognize that there's the I, and then there's the we, and it's really always we, even if it's just I. The we grows better if we have the I. Nothing is to be thrown out. It's to be assessed. All right, so we're cat people in up today. We're still rocking the cat people. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want some more of it. So there's those. I don't know. I keep feeling like I've got to keep these blank cards. I don't know why. Maybe because it says made in Italy. I wasn't made in Italy, but I was made from things from Italy. And some other places too, for sure. All right, so let's cat people up a little bit. So this is going to be the reading for Sunday, July 25th. I have a feeling it's my friend Stacy's birthday, my childhood friend Stacy. The messenger on Facebook, see if it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Stacy. And all the Leos out there, and to all of the Leos and all of us. Rock that Leo! All right. Gosh, I'm so extra. I really am. No, it gets into me. Yeah, Three of Cups. Very extra. Maybe. Okay, let's get a little more settled. Clear my energy. Ask in my angels, my guides. Ooh, there they just dropped in. It felt really nice. Thank you, guys. I feel your support. I feel your love. And I feel that you're going to guide me in giving the best reading for the collective consciousness, all zodiac star signs. If you want your own private reading, email me at lisa.loring@gmail.com, lisa.loring@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe on all the formats, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Definitely share. That's the best way of getting the news out there to anybody who needs it. And as I always say, you could listen to this however many years from now, and it could be just the message that you need to receive. Whoever hears this is supposed to hear it. So I ask for the, yes, continued support. I'm so grateful for the guidance, all the archangels, my spirit guides, dear Jesus, dear Lord, Saint Joseph, Mother Mary, Holy Spirit. What are the messages for the collective for tomorrow? What are the fun energies? What are the ways we can work the energy and enjoy and have the most beautiful, blessed day, to leave the day better than how we found it? Yes. Yes, I love that. Sunday, July 25th. Sunday, July 25th. That's jumpy. Okay. We have the Emperor. Ooh, isn't he fabulous? Look at that. Sovereignty. He's got not one, but two cats. See the one on top of the scepter? Going back to that, the imagery I was discussing earlier before I started drawing the cards about coming to that higher perspective, stepping back, being willing to step back in order to gain some perspective. He has a different shade of turquoise around his collar than the King of Wands who appeared in our reading last night, but he also has that around his belt. It's a slightly different shade of teal that's also echoed inside his cloak. Teal, tealish, the color of the throat chakra, like a combo of throat and heart. That's what I'm feeling from this card. So an emperor is always going to be one who speaks, who operates with all of his faculties, taking that Queen of Swords energy to a higher, even we're ascending constantly. We're constantly ascending to greater versions of ourselves. We're really working that energy, bettering, working with that high wisdom, working from that place. This is working from our highest wisdom, from a combination of our heart coming through our listening abilities up at the throat chakra, throat chakra is about listening as much as speaking. And and choosing the words we speak wisely, not being frivolous. There's no frivolity with that guy. Got another one coming up, Five of Wands. Again, that echoing that color that was in his cloak. Five of Wands is a more playful energy. You can see that one cat in there. He's also he's helping his friend juggle. An emperor is going to be able to recruit a super creative duo like this as part of his team. Who, you know, this is kind of a playful energy as opposed to a Five of Swords energy, I always say, which is a real opposition and jousting, so to speak, of and oftentimes an impaling of people, of thoughts and minds and philosophies. We're coming at this more about, this is a more passionate and more playful sense, kind of like an Olympics as opposed to, a UN debate. And I'll take this one as well. The Four of Pentacles. This one was also kind of coming out. The Seven of Cups. Ooh, that one's flying. Definitely wanted to come out. Okay. Four of Pentacles. This is holding on to things, and she looks pretty distraught that this very, she's holding on to these smaller coins, but the big one's getting away. The most important one, and she looks pretty distressed about that. And this cat's just sitting there watching the whole thing go down. And, and then we have these choices, and only one is, we're going to pick one. We're going to pick one that resonates. Normally in the traditional tarot, we have that choice where everything seems like an option. In this particular deck, it looks like we're really settling on one. Like, even though there's many, there is one that's going to absolutely resonate with our heart. Let it not be the one that gets away, Bottom of the deck, we've got the Queen of Wands coming back with some of that turquoise, a little more muted. And she also bears a light, very similar to our King of Wands, who was, shining a light. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. And through our most creative, emphasizing again, I notice there's a cat on her head, coming to that higher perspective, stepping back. Helps us come from the scared kitty at the top to the big kitty on the ground. Or instead of trying to be the big kitty on the ground, all puffed up, you are willing to step back and take be a little smaller for a moment in order to, regroup. And, still, and the light at the end of and still be able to make it to the end of the tunnel, not just like get stuck as, a scared kitty in the dark. She is in a very similar posture to and again, and echoing that teal color in her collar and in her crown. Some of these things may be coming to light. I'm noticing there's a kind of a crescent moon thing going, almost like an eclipse energy going on around her crown. Yeah, I was going to say, look towards the crescent moon or then the new moon in Leo, but I see some of this theme coming up, this moon thing coming up in here. I'm seeing this coming up to the eclipse season at the end of the year. Yep. I would pay attention to this reading, pay attention to what's going on now, journal about it, write it down, throw it on a calendar or something like that, and then come back at the end of the year and, look at where you are, and some of this stuff, like, yeah, I can see some of it coming to germination and fruition, not just germination, but like some of it starting to germinate, maybe. Germinate? Why, I picked that word instead of fruition. Some of it's starting to germinate, and you'll start to see some growth around it, around the new moon in Leo. And then further out towards the end of the year when we come to eclipse season in December. And I forget where, I think the eclipses will happen, yeah, they have to happen in probably Sagittarius. around Christmas time, when Venus goes into retrograde. Venus will be in retrograde then. But yeah, see what started. Yeah, see what kind of rolls out. We have Lionsgate coming up on August 8th, and we have a vortex opening up right now because of the, is it Mars square Pluto? No, it's Venus and Jupiter. That's not right. I have to go back and listen to my astrologers, but listen to Dorothy Morgan, listen to Christopher Witecki, Sensei Christopher, or go to Sirius Joy, Siris, not Serious, it's Sirius. He'll do a namaste today, but there is a vortex, and I forget exactly the planets, so don't quote me, but there is a vortex that has opened up the next couple of days. And fast forward to Lionsgate coming up through August 8th, the new moon coming up in Leo just a little bit after that, I think, or even around that time. I haven't noticed the dates. And actually, let me look that one up. I did bring my iPad out. Let's see. I normally, actually, it's probably on my calendar. I just had a lot going on. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, new moon coming up in Leo. New moon in Leo. Leo. 2021. August 7th. Yeah, so I was going to say, I felt like it was around Lionsgate. So yeah, we've got that coming up, and then yeah, so we've got that coming up, and then, but I'm feeling like there's an eclipse energy going on around this, and which the Queen of Wands in this posture, with, and echoing the King of Wands, like, lighting it up in the darkness. There is, even in this dark, like, situation, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep following the light, and that's your inner light. Sorry, I'm hot flashing again. But that's your inner light, and following our heart. And, that's what the Emperor does. And look, we have a Two of Wands here. So you have, he's holding two lights. So, just keep following the heart direction, the heart, the intuition, and the heart and the throat. The heart and the throat. And when your heart is coming out constantly, and your ears are open and receptive, and you're really the heart is open and receiving, and taking that higher perspective. We've got this cat on her head, we've got a cat up here in a cup, and we have a cat up here on his scepter, all about the same sizes. It's like, even though it may feel like you're kind of up and feeling tiny, that regrouping energy is absolutely what we need. This was something that came through at the beginning of last week's message, which was about make sure that you're constantly taking time to yourself during the course of the day in order to hear yourself, to hear your heart, to hear your spirit. Because if we're constantly barraged by, it's fine. Yes, we do need to take the input. When we're constant in those moments during the rest of the time, when we are, barraged, it's hard to be discerning. It's hard to be in that Queen of Swords energy, discerning and yet receptive, and then make good decisions. All we do is we constantly get told what to do, rather than hearing our own voice, which we should also add to the mix in terms of, like, and then, we've really got to pay attention to the whole picture. And then come back to center, come back to source, and hear that light. And to not only, and therefore be the light for others. To say, hey, I have something to offer here too. Maybe this is something that you want to add to your recipe, to our recipe. This one cup, I have this one golden idea, this golden nugget. We'll miss those golden nuggets. We miss those golden nuggets, or because we're so busy, holding on to all these other things and super distracted by, trying to hold on to, like, all the stuff that we think we need, when meanwhile the one thing that we really want is right there, and this cat's just waiting for it to pounce. I'm remembering last night there was a cat, in the Ten of Swords. There's this cat that's, like, ready to pounce. And that cat is you know, that's the kind of stuff that like comes in that vulnerable moment when we're super frazzled, and that's the that's the stuff that comes in and pounces, and it's like those are those knee-jerk reactions. They're the knee-jerk reactions. They're the old patterns. It's like the things that we know we don't do really anymore. It's that devil energy, if you will. And you know, this is what happens, and this cat that's ready to pounce is going to take away the value, your self-worth. It's going to kind of degrade that. So instead of being our best selves, the golden ticket of us, you know, that gold, you know, I get the golden ticket. Johnny Depp, I love you, but I definitely am an old school Willy Wonka girl. Just saying. You know, what is your golden ticket? Your golden ticket is always that golden thread, that silent thread. That if you take time to hear, is there for you even in the cacophony. That's a fun word to say. I think I don't even need to angle the camera down. I mean, I guess we can, right? Because I'm going to pull some other cards. All right. So these guys came out first. So here we are. Let's recap. Let's recap. Oh, you have an Ace of Pentacles. Oh, yeah. See, so we end up picking that one card, that one coin anyway. We're wise enough. We're better than this, right? We're better than that kind of grippy energy. We're not going to let this list come in. We're going to end up Ace of Pentacles. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. And then we are the fat cat. Look at that fat cat. Love it, love it. Oh, Nine of Pentacles came up again. I love it. So yeah, independence. You know, we've worked really hard for this kind of stuff. We've worked really hard for our pentacles. We're seeing this happen in the material world. But again, some of this stuff, I'm telling you, just wait and see, is going to come up. You know, just start tracking it from now, this past, you know, full moon that we just had, through Lionsgate and the new moon, August 7th. And then just kind of roll with it and kind of tend it, that Seven of Pentacles energy, through the eclipses at the end of the year. And I'm not going to go into when those are happening, but yeah, they're happening at the end of the year. Definitely in Sagittarius, or maybe it's actually probably in Gemini. Yeah, because the eclipses, yeah. Okay, so we'll look at those at the end of the year, but not right now. So let's recap this. So yeah, listening here, we have the Emperor energy. We are in our most powerful version of ourselves. We're manifesting that not only in spirit, but this is what we're actually coming into all of this with. So there's no reason to even go into this energy. It might come up for you though, right? But know that that's there. See, this is the beauty of the tarot. And you know, the astrology is actually, you know, the king, I've got to tell you, but you know, the tarot just kind of like basically brings that to art. You know, I have this imagination too. You know, people that want to poo-poo like astrology and poo-poo like tarot. Guess what? God made the planets, and the planets all move around. He gave them jobs. As above, so below. You know, God made them too. And you know what? He made us to make art to like kind of like express like that kind of energy, what's going on in the world. So it's all good. You know what I mean? Get your resources wherever. That was kind of one a thought that came up to me. Like, God made it all, dude. And you know, and we are that divinity ourselves. So why not express ourselves and seek for sustenance, resource, information, divinity, and wherever we can find it. And that's this kind of energy. He's going to find it wherever. You know, he's always on the lookout for cool people to be on his team. Always. And you know, that golden nugget, he's looking for people who, you know, have this kind of worth, who are willing to put down these smaller parts of themselves in order to let that greater golden thread shine. And you know, and for that person to offer that and say, hey, you know what, this is what I have, to choose that part of themselves and therefore be able to offer it, to cultivate that. And when we do that, you know, no matter what happens, no matter what's happening around us, we're able to like look at these colors. That teal color and the gold is so vibrant in all of these cards. You know, we've got that heart center. We are combining it with our voice and our listening capabilities, and we're creating. She is one of the most creative people in the deck. We're taking the higher perspective, even if it's only a small part of us. We're still taking that higher perspective to step back in order to make a great decisions for our own greater good and therefore others. Okay, so I'm gonna pull from and here's that other card. And does she have a cat on her head too? She does. Look at that Ace of Pentacles. She's got a cat on her head. That's our higher, wiser self. And then we are the big cat on the ground. Then we are in our biggest selves, our most beautiful, biggest self that isn't a facade, that isn't just a front. We are there. We are big. We're bigger than the small things that crop up. I've got the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle cards by Lucy Cavendish and Selena Fenech. So we're going to read from the fairies today. I told you they wanted to come out. Well, they were absolutely shrieking before when I was when I was setting up to do our reading. So let's do the reading. Let's finish it. Let's round it out. I also brought Archangel Michael cards out, so we'll read from him as well. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for being here. Thank you, fairies. Thank you all. Thank you for joining me. Again, like, share, subscribe. That's the best way to get the word out to those who need it. I appreciate those who send donations via either Venmo or PayPal. That info's in the thing. Or just send me some Starbucks or wherever. Send me a little something to get some coffee. I like that too. Big Empress Energy always says that, and I love the way she says that. I'm like, that's right. I'm like, yeah. Coffee wins. Coffee is the best thing. I love coffee. It's my favorite. Oh, Chad's home. All right, so what do the fairies have to say as a commentary on this reading for Sunday, July 25th, 2021? What is the message from the fairies? And here it is. Gossamer Princess. Number 12 card. Ooh, yes. Tomorrow is a number 3 day, is a step 3 day. It's a Jupiter ruled day. Gossamer Princess. So yeah, good Jupiter. Always, he's in retrograde right now at step 0 Pisces until the 28th, which is when he'll go into Aquarius. But I feel that energy is coming through now. That's me, I'm always a little bit ahead. So if you don't feel this energy coming in now, check it over the next few days as we near towards the 28th and beyond to see what's up. So 12 nets to a 3. That's where I'm getting at, just so you know. Be a little more clear on that. Sometimes if I'm not clear about stuff, just say something in the comments, because my Mercury is in Pisces, so I can speak very figuratively, and I think it makes sense, but not to others. All right, so I'm going to turn her around so you can see her. Look at all the butterflies. She's pulling in the sacral chakra with that yellow, not sacral, excuse me, solar plexus chakra. So we're pulling up that willpower through the heart, through the throat, and I see some of the yellow coming through. There's that gold that was popping up, and now that's making sense to me even more. And by pulling in our willpower and like stoking it with our will and our fire, we've got the wands here. This emperor is also a fire. He's also representative of the sign of Aries, which is a fire sign and a cardinal sign. So that willpower is there. What was I going to say? Leo is heart energy, but it's also about the solar plexus. So being able to, Leo is also a fire sign. We're in a fire season right now, so which I don't have to tell people out west, but there we are. Sorry about that for everybody who is dealing with that. But this yellow energy is also coming in, so we're actually pulling in the solar plexus, the heart, as well as the throat chakra, in order to be in our best selves. We're pulling in all that central sun into the heart, into our soul power, into the throat. You know, we can't go wrong with that when you've got that kind of power behind what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're interacting. It's just a matter of like being balanced, being in an emperor state about that, being in royalty. So yeah, oh, Gossamer Princess. So the communication, relationship, work to be done. This beautiful young fairy maiden sits atop a delicate spider's web, one that is literally hanging by a thread. She's making a decision whether to reweave the strands that support her at present, or whether to move on and recreate her web elsewhere. This card can show up in your life when you're reaching a point in a situation or relationship where strands need to be rewoven or changed. For just as a spider does each morning, all of our relationships and connections need this regular tending. It would seem that there has been some neglect of important strands in your life, and you are at a point where you are wondering whether to repair or to move on. There may have been some breakdowns in communication, not having heard from a friend, speaking less with family members, or not paying attention to the small things that bind us together. Though the strands seem so delicate and gossamer thin, remember that they are strong indeed. When spider spins, her strands can withstand rain and wind, storms and damage, ice and burning sun. All it takes is the gentle reweaving each day for relationships and connections of great strength to endure. In that tending, all things will be recreated, and perhaps in that recreation they will be changed and even be better and stronger than before. Divinatory meanings. Because it is communication between yourself and others, at the heart of this card, you may be experiencing communication difficulties. Your phone may be down, the web may be playing up, your email or other sources of technology may need some repair work. Relationships might be fraught with trivial misunderstandings, leading to falling outs that are unworthy of both parties. Consider spending time with people you have not seen for some time, and know that whatever you decide, it is worth spending just a little time to assess the relationship's meaning to you. Connect with others to feel less isolated. Share your creations and your thoughts and feelings. The need to talk through issues affecting yourself and others. Sharing your truth with respect. Waiting for another to make the first move in communications. The web of family, of life between friends and species. Interrelationships. There is always the possibility to recreate the web. Endings and gentle separations. Each of one part of life. End of one part of life. Changing from one stage to another. Young women coming into the initiation stage. And so, you know, so again, the butterflies are there for transformation. And in the reverse, this card can relate to etheric cords that bind you, keeping you from seeking and pursuing your life purpose. This card also indicates that some of your relationships in the world are being maintained only because you fear that if you sever the ties you have, you could fall. There is a real sense of defining who you are through your relationships, both personal and professional. It may be time to gently allow some strands of your web to dissolve and to build again elsewhere. It could be time to change your technology and to take some time out to think on your own for a while. If you decide to retain the relationships, know that there will be a delicate repair job ahead of you. Reluctance to rebuild after a parent change and to take responsibility for your part of the web, your part of the friend relationship. Waiting for another to fix things. Hesitation, lack of confidence in your ability to bring about change. Underestimating your strength and ability to bring about positive change. Feeling it may be best to allow some parts of your life to come to a gentle end. So that would be if it was in the reverse. That was that last part, starting with the reversed. So we have, this theme continues about unity, about collaboration. You know, everything is interwoven. And that theme, you know, continues. That theme continues, and it came up here in this Five of Wands card that, you know, even though they're playing around, they're doing it collaboratively, and there's an enjoyment there, and they're working together. And but within that, you know, you have to, you know, deciding about some of the themes that were coming up in the Gossamer Princess, about tending those. You've got, in order to tend your relationships and tend the webs and interconnections in our lives, that interconnection, spider energy is obviously part of that. You know, that if anything, you know, I know it was Gossamer Princess, but, you know, spider energy, I almost want to like pull the spider card. Spider Totem. As the weaver of the web, the spider symbolizes the spirit of creation. In several traditions, she's the totemic symbol of the mother. Strong. Ooh, nice. Remarkable figure of feminine energy and creativity in the spirit animal kingdom. So, you know, although it's not present in the, a spider isn't present in this card, that's the Queen of Wands energy. By affinity with the spider spirit animal, you may have qualities of high receptivity and creativity. Having the spider as a power animal or totem helps you tune into life's ebbs and flows and ingeniously weave every step of your destiny. There, I'll put the link to that totem information in the description so you can read more about it. But, you know, what I notice is, you know, the kind of um, web-like features that are part of the pentacles in what she's holding, and of course here, and of course here. And that theme of interdependence, not codependence, has been coming up for weeks. So I'm returning back to that theme. I'm going to leave it at that because this is long enough. It's probably this is probably, you know what, this is one that's going to carry us through. And like I said, maybe just bookmark this one, because this one is someone you'll want to come back to probably 6 months from now. All right? Love you guys. Have a great day.